My beloved child, I am grateful that you have finally come across this message. For the past 3 weeks, I have been waiting for the right moment to share these words with you. What I am about to reveal may touch your heart so deeply that tears could fill your eyes. But listen carefully because this message will not remain here forever. Set everything aside for a moment. I am not asking for a few seconds of your day. I am asking for your full attention and your heart. What I am about to tell you is something heaven has been trying to place within your spirit night after night while you slept. That gentle pull you have been feeling, that unexplainable sensation in your chest, that strange silence that suddenly seemed impossible to ignore, none of it was an accident. It was me. It was heaven reaching toward you. It was divine love trying to find its way through the pain you have been carrying. Right now, I need you to stay with me. Do not move on. Do not dismiss this. If you do, you could miss the very answer your soul has been longing for behind closed doors. There is someone in heaven, someone who once comforted you when no one else could, someone who brought light into your darkest moments, someone who made you smile when life felt heavy. That person has been pleading with me to bring this message to you. And yes, last night at 3:11 a.m., they spoke your name. Your name echoed throughout eternity. They said, please, if they hear anything today, let it be this. And I, Archangel Michael, promised that I would not stop until these words reached you. This is not chance. This is not random. This is holy. This is a divine meeting filled with healing, truth, and understanding. Lately, you have been exhausted, haven't you? Not physically tired in a way that rest could solve, but weary deep within your spirit. It is the kind of exhaustion that follows you everywhere, even during moments that should bring happiness. You have smiled while carrying burdens. You have laughed while quietly wondering whether anyone truly understands what you are going through. Beloved, heaven understands. God sees every hidden struggle. I see every silent tear. And there is a reason I was sent to you. Something is beginning to shift above you even now. A breakthrough is taking shape in the spiritual realm. Before it enters your life, you needed this reassurance, this guidance, this truth. 3 weeks ago, something happened. Think about it. There was a moment, a feeling, an encounter, or perhaps a dream that stayed with you longer than it should have. At the time it seemed small, but deep down you wondered why it happened. You questioned what it meant. That was not life acting without purpose. It was divine direction unfolding behind the scenes. It is one of the reasons I was sent to reach you before the moment passes. Heaven told me that you might scroll away. They said disappointment had visited you so many times that believing again would be difficult. Yet I asked for one more opportunity to reach your heart. Now that you are here, I need you to listen closely because what I am about to tell you could influence the next 11 days of your life and may even help you avoid something painful. Yes, painful. Not because I wish to frighten you, but because true love warns before danger arrives. There is a door in your life that is preparing to close, while another is preparing to open. What many people fail to understand is that God often closes the very doors they begged Him to unlock because He sees what remains hidden. Behind that friendly face was betrayal. Behind that opportunity was a trap. Behind what looked promising was heartbreak waiting to appear. Even though you mourned when it disappeared, heaven celebrated because your future was being protected. Right now, beloved, you stand between what has ended and what is about to begin. That is why I am here. What comes next requires spiritual readiness. Listen carefully. Before this week is over, someone may reach out to you. You will recognize them because the timing will feel unusual. Their appearance will seem unexpected. Perhaps they will send a message. Perhaps they will enter your life in a surprising way. Their arrival is not without purpose. Pay attention to what you feel within. When they appear, your spirit will sense either peace or confusion. That feeling is important. That is heaven guiding you. That is me helping you recognize what is right and what is not. Do not ignore your intuition as you have done before. In the past, you overlooked it and ended up carrying wounds because of it. This time will be different. This time, heaven is walking beside you. If these words are touching your heart, pause and subscribe because this message was meant for you. Heaven has not finished speaking. There is something even deeper that must be revealed. Inside your soul there is a hidden place, a spiritual box that has remained closed since childhood. Within it are forgotten dreams, buried memories, and pieces of yourself that you locked away simply to survive. You convinced yourself that nobody would understand. But I understand. I see every hidden part of you, even the parts you try not to face. The moment you almost gave up, I was there. The prayer you whispered when nobody else could hear, I carried it before heaven myself. Now God is preparing to awaken something within you that has been sleeping for years. There is a spiritual inheritance connected to your name. There is a purpose, a calling, a destiny that was placed within you before you were born. But pain, fear, loss, and life's hardships have delayed its arrival. Heaven is saying, the waiting season is over. And child, when heaven begins opening a new season, it often leads you through small faithful steps that bring peace, clarity, and direction back into your life. My child, I see the struggle you have been facing, the stress about finances, the silent worries that stay in your heart, and the moments where you feel uncertain about what comes next. You have been asking for peace, and that answer is already on its way. You are not meant to stay stuck in fear, you are meant to walk forward with purpose, with faith, and with clear steps every day. That is why a simple system has been placed in front of you, a 30-day faith and financial breakthrough system, a path where each day brings you a focused prayer, a small financial action, and clear direction to help you move ahead. No pressure, no confusion, just steady progress toward peace and stability. If something inside you feels ready, if you are ready to change your situation, take that first step today. This could be the moment your life begins to change. You will find the link in the description, and in the comments below. Because what heaven is awakening inside you now is not confusion. It is the beginning of the breakthrough, restoration, and purpose that has been waiting for the right moment to appear in your life. That is why you were led here. That is why your eyes are still moving across these words. Something within your spirit has begun to awaken tonight. Perhaps you feel chills moving through your body. Perhaps your eyes are filling with tears for reasons you cannot explain. Let them fall. Those tears are not a sign of weakness. They are a sign that something heavy is finally leaving you. It is the release your soul has needed for a long time. You are not lost. You are not falling apart. You are simply beginning to remember the truth of who you have always been. There is something else you need to know. Right now, someone on this earth has been paying attention to you. Not because they wish to judge you, but because they are drawn towards something they cannot explain. They see a light in you. They sense something different about your presence. They cannot find the words for it, yet they keep noticing you. The reason is simple. You carry something heavenly within you. That is why you feel emotions so deeply. That is why your love reaches farther than most people understand. That is why your dreams refuse to stay small. You were never created to live an ordinary life. The people around you feel that energy even when they cannot explain it. Stay with me because there is one more warning I must share. You are standing in the middle of a battle that you did not create. It is a spiritual battle. It touches your home, your relationships, your thoughts, and your peace. The confusion that appears without reason, the exhaustion that lingers, the misunderstandings that seem to come from nowhere, the obstacles that suddenly block your path. These things are not always random. But hear me clearly. You are not facing them alone. The next time that inner voice tries to convince you that you are failing, speak these words with confidence. I am protected. I am chosen. I am never alone. Because tonight, I stand watch over you. I will not allow what is ahead to destroy what God has built inside you. Can you feel it already? That calmness beginning to replace fear. That quiet strength returning to places that once felt weak. That is heaven drawing closer and whispering, stay near. There is more to come. Beloved, your journey is only beginning. The fact that you are still here means something significant. It means your spirit recognized these words before your mind could fully understand them. Divine truth works that way. It does not always arrive with evidence. Sometimes it arrives with recognition. Now that you have opened your heart, pay attention to what happens next. Not weeks from now. Not sometime in the distant future. Beginning tonight. The ringing you occasionally hear. The sudden feeling in your chest. The unexpected shift in your emotions. Those are more than simple experiences. They are reminders that something deeper is taking place around you. Your name has been spoken with purpose. There is a promise connected to your life that nearly disappeared beneath years of pain and delay. Nearly. But heaven preserved it. I carried that promise through every obstacle placed in its path so it could reach you at the right moment. This message is part of that promise. Do not dismiss it. There are prayers connected to your life that have been waiting for this awakening. Prayers spoken by people who came before you. Tears shed by those who loved you before you were even born. Sacrifices made by generations who hoped for a better future. Somewhere in the past, someone looked toward heaven and asked God to protect the generations that would follow. They never knew your name, yet their prayers helped prepare the path you walk today. You are connected to promises that began long before your arrival. That is one reason the struggle has felt so intense. The forces working against you hoped you would never discover your value. Because the moment you fully recognize who you are, every chain that followed your family for generations loses its power. And the remarkable truth is that much of that victory has already begun. You simply have not seen the full picture yet. Signs are about to appear. During the next 72 hours, pay close attention. First, there will be a moment of unusual stillness. Everything around you will seem quieter than normal. Time itself may feel slower. In that moment, something within you will say, pay attention. When it happens, stop for a second and listen. The second sign will involve a person. It could be someone unfamiliar or someone from your past. They will say something that feels strangely personal, as if the words were meant specifically for you. Trust that feeling. The third sign will come through repetition. A number, a date, or a name may appear again and again. You might notice it on a screen, a receipt, a conversation, or even in a dream. When that pattern appears, take notice. It is a reminder that movement has already begun. But there is something important you must hear. A disturbance will attempt to enter your peace. It may come disguised as a distraction, a message, an old memory, or a situation that tries to pull you backward. Be careful. Do not return to the places from which God has already delivered you. You asked for freedom. Do not exchange it for familiar chains simply because they seem comfortable. The things that hold people back often arrive wearing familiar faces. You must respond differently now. You are not the same person you were a few months ago. You have grown. You have learned. You have become stronger. Can you feel the difference? You are walking forward with greater wisdom than before. And there is something deeper you need to understand. The isolation you experienced. The friendships that faded. The people who misunderstood you. The relationships that slipped away despite your efforts to save them. None of that happened because you were abandoned. It happened because your path was changing. Not everyone was meant to continue the journey with you. Some people could not follow where God is leading you. That is why certain connections ended. That is why some situations fell apart no matter how hard you tried to hold them together. Heaven was removing what no longer belonged in your future. And now, although the road may feel lonely at times, you are carrying far less weight than before. What feels like loneliness today is not a punishment. It is preparation for what is coming next. Soon you will understand why certain roads had to be walked by yourself before others could recognize the light within you. Right now, Heaven's attention is fixed on you in ways you cannot imagine. Every tear that slips down your face is noticed. Every silent breath of frustration is heard. Every time you came close to surrendering, Heaven moved on your behalf. Legions were assigned to protect you in moments when you never even realized danger was near. If your eyes could see all the unseen battles you were spared from, gratitude would overwhelm your heart. You are not here because chance favored you. You are here because purpose has covered you since the beginning. Let me tell you something gently. You have permission to rest. You do not need to earn your value. You do not need to carry the burdens of every person around you. You do not need to hide your pain just to make others comfortable. For so long you have been the strong one. But now Heaven is inviting you to be held instead of always holding everyone else. Release what has been crushing your spirit. Release it now. As these words reach you, surrender the guilt, the pressure, the regret, the uncertainty. Those burdens no longer belong on your shoulders. I, Michael, am helping lift them from you even now. If your heart feels lighter, if emotion begins to rise, do not resist it. That is not weakness. That is freedom returning to places that have carried too much for too long. You have done enough. Let Heaven carry you for a while. And hear this clearly. You have not missed your opportunity. I know there are days when it feels as if life moved ahead without you. Days when it seems everyone else is progressing while you remain stuck. But that is not the truth. You are not behind. You are being prepared. Some things grow quickly but disappear just as fast. You were created differently. You are like a mighty tree with roots planted deep beneath the surface. Storms have come and gone, yet you remain standing. And now the season is changing. The time has come. The time to receive. The time to release old guilt. The time to trust again. The time to believe that the most beautiful parts of your story are still ahead of you. And child, when Heaven begins leading you into a new season, it often starts with small faithful steps that bring peace, clarity, and direction back into your life. My child, I see the weight you have been carrying. The quiet worries about money, the stress you rarely speak about, the nights when your mind refuses to rest. You have been praying for peace, and your prayers have been heard. You are not meant to walk this journey in confusion and fear. You are meant to walk with faith, with clarity, and with daily direction. That is why a simple path has been placed before you, a 30-day faith and financial breakthrough system. Each day you will be guided with a gentle prayer, a simple money step, and clear direction to help you regain control. Nothing overwhelming, nothing complicated. Just small faithful steps leading you toward peace and stability. If your heart feels ready, begin today. Do not delay this moment. The link is in the description and in the comments below. Because what heaven is preparing for you now is not just a change in circumstances. It is the beginning of the breakthrough, restoration, and blessings that have been moving toward you all along. Those chapters have not been lost. They are only beginning. They will be written with peace where fear once lived, with joy where sorrow once lingered, with love where loneliness once echoed, and with blessings that overflow beyond what you expected. Soon you will step into places where your name was already being spoken before your arrival. That is divine favor. It is moving toward you now. You cannot fully measure how deeply heaven loves you. Not because of your accomplishments, but because of who you are. Even in moments when you felt unworthy, you remained precious in the sight of your Creator. Nothing in your past has removed you from the love that brought the universe into existence. Receive that truth completely. You are still worthy. Worthy of healing. Worthy of faithful love. Worthy of restored health. Worthy of genuine laughter. Worthy of peaceful nights and brighter mornings. Anyone who told you otherwise was speaking from a place that could not see your true value. Before I continue, I need you to know this. Something sacred is approaching your home. I will not tell you the exact moment, but when it arrives, you will recognize it. A stillness will settle over the atmosphere. You may sense something different in the room. You may feel a presence or hear something that catches your attention. Whether gentle or powerful, it will be unmistakable. When that moment comes, simply whisper, "Thank you, Michael. I am listening." Because heaven will be closer than you realize. Take a deep breath now, beloved, because what comes next could only be revealed at this moment. This portion of the message is deeply personal. It is meant for your spirit. If you have remained here, if your heart has stayed open enough to receive these words, then perhaps you are exactly the person heaven hoped would stay until the end. This truth is not for those who seek entertainment. It is for those who are being called forward. Very soon, there may come another moment when you feel tempted to quit. Yes, even after hearing all of this. Because often the greatest resistance appears right before breakthrough arrives. It is one final effort by everything that has tried to stand between you and your purpose. That is why you have often felt different from the people around you. Why your emotions seem deeper. Why your heart felt things others overlooked. Why your joy sometimes felt fragile. It was never weakness. It was sensitivity. And that sensitivity is one of your greatest gifts. Despite every disappointment, you still believe. Despite every wound, you still care. Despite every hardship, you still choose love. That makes you a threat to darkness. There is another truth you may not know. Your life has already changed someone else's path. Someone observed your strength. Someone listened to your words. Someone watched you continue moving forward while carrying burdens they never knew about. And because of what they saw in you, they found the courage to keep going themselves. They may never tell you. But heaven witnessed every moment. Nothing was overlooked. Now a reward is moving toward you. Not because you demanded it, but because heaven remembers every act of quiet strength. Every sleepless night. Every sacrifice. Every time you kept showing up while your heart was struggling. A blessing is being written into the story of your life. A divine moment is already being prepared. I have seen it. I have heard it declared. Mark this one for favor. They have carried enough. Let their season change. It may begin in a simple way. A message. A conversation. A new opportunity. An unexpected opening. Yet the timing will fit together so perfectly that you will pause and say, only God could have arranged this. And you will be right. Because heaven has never been waiting for perfection. Heaven has only been waiting for your willingness to keep moving forward. And because you chose not to give up, because you continued walking even when the road felt impossible, the next chapter is already drawing near. What is coming will not arrive because you earned it through flawless effort. It will arrive because grace never stopped working behind the scenes, preparing a future that was always meant to find you. And beloved, that transformation is already taking place within you. The version of yourself that carried all that fear, confusion, and heaviness cannot go where heaven is leading you now. That old identity served its purpose, but it was never meant to be your final destination. The doubts you carried, the insecurities that followed you, the wounds that shaped so many of your decisions, they are losing their hold over you. What is happening now is not the end of who you were. It is the revealing of who you were always meant to become. Have you noticed how certain things no longer feel the same? Conversations that once felt normal now leave you drained. Places that once brought comfort now feel unfamiliar. Situations you once tolerated no longer sit right with your spirit. That is not because something is wrong. It is because you are changing. Your soul is expanding beyond old limitations. Heaven is stretching your vision and preparing you for something greater than what you have known before. Do not be afraid of this process. Growth often feels uncomfortable before it feels beautiful. The pressure you have felt lately is not meant to destroy you. It is shaping you. It is preparing you for the prayers you once whispered through tears. And soon, things that seemed confusing will begin to make sense. Pieces of your story that felt disconnected will suddenly fit together. Doors that closed without explanation will reveal why they had to close. Delays that frustrated you will show themselves as protection. Every step that felt wasted will prove to have carried purpose. Answers are already moving toward you. Blessings are already being arranged. People are already being positioned. Heaven has been working behind the scenes far longer than you realize. There are conversations happening about you that you know nothing about. There are opportunities being prepared that your eyes have not yet seen. There are moments on the horizon that will remind you why you never should have given up. And when they arrive, you will look back and understand that heaven was guiding you the entire time. Beloved, there is something beautiful I need you to remember. You do not have to have everything figured out. You do not need every answer before taking the next step. Faith has never been about seeing the entire path. Faith is taking one step when heaven only shows you the next one. Some of you have been waiting for a giant sign while heaven has already been placing small confirmations all around you. The repeated thoughts. The unexpected encouragement. The dreams that stay with you after waking. The feeling that something is changing even though you cannot explain why. These are not accidents. They are reminders that you are not walking alone. Heaven has been speaking in whispers because it wants your heart, not just your attention. And now your heart is beginning to listen. There is a shift happening in your perspective. You are beginning to see yourself differently. Not through the eyes of people who misunderstood you. Not through the lens of past failures. Not through the pain of old disappointments. You are beginning to see yourself the way heaven sees you. Valuable. Chosen. Loved. Protected. Guided. Called for a purpose greater than you can currently imagine. That truth has always existed. The only difference is that now you are finally ready to receive it. And as you receive it, something remarkable begins to happen. Fear starts losing its voice. Anxiety starts losing its grip. Old lies begin to fall apart. The things that once controlled your emotions no longer have the same power. Why? Because light has entered places where darkness once lived. Awareness has entered places where confusion once ruled. Hope has entered places where despair once sat. This is what spiritual renewal feels like. It is not always loud. Sometimes it happens quietly. Sometimes it happens through a single realization. Sometimes it happens through a moment where you suddenly understand that you no longer want to be the person you used to be. And beloved, that moment is closer than you think. There is also someone reading this who has been carrying regret. You have replayed certain decisions over and over in your mind. You have wondered what would have happened if you had chosen differently. You have questioned yourself, blamed yourself, and carried burdens that were never meant to stay on your shoulders. Hear me clearly. The chapter is over. Stop punishing yourself for lessons that have already taught you what you needed to learn. Heaven is not asking you to live in yesterday. Heaven is inviting you into tomorrow. The future cannot fully arrive while you keep staring at the past. Release it. Release the guilt. Release the disappointment. Release the need to understand every detail. Some answers come only after you move forward. And forward is exactly where you are being led. There is a future version of you smiling right now. A version of you that has already walked through this season and reached the other side. A version of you that no longer cries over what left. A version of you that no longer questions their worth. A version of you standing in answered prayers, living in blessings that once seemed impossible. That version of you is closer than you realize. Every step you take in faith brings you nearer to that reality. Every choice to keep going weakens the power of what tried to stop you. Every day you refuse to quit becomes another victory written into your story. So lift your head, beloved. The journey is not ending. It is opening into something new. Heaven has not forgotten your name. Your prayers have not been ignored. Your tears have not been wasted. Your waiting has not been meaningless. Everything is being woven together in ways you cannot yet see. And very soon, what feels hidden today will become clear. What feels delayed today will arrive. What feels impossible today will stand before you as proof that heaven was working all along. Keep walking. Keep believing. Keep your heart open. Because the story ahead of you is greater than the chapter behind you, and this next season will reveal just how much heaven has been preparing for your arrival. And that is exactly why you have faced so much resistance throughout your journey. The greatest opposition is often aimed at the people carrying the greatest purpose. If there was nothing valuable within you, there would have been no reason for so many battles to surround your path. Yet despite every obstacle, every disappointment, every sleepless night, and every moment when giving up seemed easier than moving forward, you are still standing. You are still searching. You are still believing. That alone should tell you something powerful about who you truly are. Beloved, there is a strength inside you that even you have not fully discovered yet. Heaven has seen it from the beginning. I have seen it from the beginning. There were moments when you thought you had reached your limit, moments when you believed you could not take one more step, yet somehow you did. Somehow you found the courage to keep going. That was not an accident. That was grace carrying you when your own strength felt gone. And now a new season is approaching, one unlike anything you have experienced before. The struggles of the past were not designed to define you. They were preparing you to recognize the blessings that are now drawing near. Soon you will begin noticing changes that seem small at first. A conversation that opens a door. A thought that brings clarity. A burden that suddenly feels lighter. A situation that begins working in your favor after months of resistance. These are not random events. They are signs that movement has already begun. Heaven often works quietly before it works visibly. The roots grow beneath the surface long before anyone sees the tree. And for a long time, your roots have been growing. Now the season of visible growth is arriving. There is also something important I need you to remember. Stop measuring your progress against the lives of other people. Their path is not your path. Their timing is not your timing. What was meant for them cannot replace what has been prepared for you. Too often you have looked at others and wondered why things seemed easier for them. You questioned your own journey because it appeared slower. But beloved, heaven was building something deeper within you. What takes longer to build often lasts longer once it arrives. The foundation being established in your life is stronger than you realize. That is why certain things had to happen differently for you. And one day, very soon, you will thank God for the delays you once cried over. You will thank heaven for the doors that remained closed. You will thank every unanswered prayer that protected you from paths that were never meant to be yours. Right now you cannot see the full picture. But trust that there is a picture. Trust that there is a plan. Trust that every piece is moving into place. The future ahead of you is not empty. It is filled with possibilities waiting for the right moment to appear. There are blessings already carrying your name. There are opportunities already being prepared. There are people already being guided toward your path. Even now, while you are reading these words, heaven is arranging details you know nothing about. That is how much you are loved. That is how closely your journey is being watched. So when fear tries to speak again, answer it with faith. When doubt tries to return, answer it with truth. When old wounds try to convince you that nothing will change, remind yourself that the story is not finished. The next page has not been written yet. And what is coming next carries more hope, more peace, and more purpose than anything you have left behind. Hold on a little longer. Stay open a little longer. Keep believing a little longer. Because the breakthrough you have been praying for is not as far away as it seems. One day soon you will look back at this season and realize that what felt like waiting was actually preparation. What felt like silence was actually heaven working. What felt like being forgotten was actually being protected. And when that realization arrives, your heart will finally understand that every step, every tear, every prayer, and every moment of endurance was leading you toward this very chapter. The chapter where fear loses its grip, where peace finds a permanent home within you, and where you finally step into the life heaven has been preparing for you all along. And beloved, when those difficult days try to return, speak over yourself with the same compassion that heaven speaks over you. Stop carrying conversations in your mind that only tear you down. Stop measuring your worth through old wounds and past disappointments. You have already survived things that once seemed impossible. You have already walked through nights that felt endless. You have already overcome battles that no one else even knew you were fighting. That strength is still inside you. It never left. The storms may come and go, but they no longer define you. They no longer control your future. You are stronger now, wiser now, and more prepared than you realize. Heaven has watched every step you have taken. Every tear, every prayer, every moment you chose to keep going when quitting seemed easier has been seen. And now those moments are becoming part of the foundation for what comes next. Something beautiful is beginning to unfold ahead of you. Even if you cannot see it yet, things are already moving. Doors are quietly unlocking. Opportunities are being prepared. Paths are being cleared. People are being positioned. What once felt impossible is slowly becoming possible. What once felt distant is moving closer. What once felt lost is finding its way back into alignment. That is why you must not lose heart now. You are closer than you think. The breakthrough is closer than it appears. The answer is nearer than you realize. And when it arrives, you will understand why heaven asked you to remain patient. You will understand why certain things had to happen the way they did. You will understand why some people left, why some plans failed, why some doors refused to open. It was never punishment. It was preparation. It was protection. It was divine wisdom working in places your eyes could not yet see. Beloved, there is also a new confidence rising within you. It may still be small right now, but it is growing. Soon you will notice yourself making decisions differently. You will notice yourself speaking differently. You will notice yourself no longer chasing approval from people who never appreciated your worth. You will stop begging for places where you were never meant to belong. You will stop shrinking yourself to fit inside other people's expectations. Instead, you will begin walking with a quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are. That confidence is not pride. It is peace. It is the result of finally understanding that your value was never determined by the opinions of others. Your value was established long before anyone had the chance to question it. And that realization changes everything. There is another thing I need you to hear. The blessings that are approaching your life will require you to think differently about yourself. You cannot step into a new season while carrying an old identity. You cannot receive abundance while believing you deserve lack. You cannot receive healthy love while believing you are difficult to love. You cannot receive peace while constantly expecting chaos. Heaven is inviting you to release those old beliefs. Let them go. They no longer belong to the person you are becoming. The future waiting for you requires a stronger version of your faith. It requires you to believe that good things are possible again. It requires you to trust that joy can stay. It requires you to accept that blessings do not always disappear. And yes, that may feel unfamiliar after everything you have been through. But unfamiliar does not mean wrong. Sometimes unfamiliar is simply what healing feels like. Sometimes peace feels strange to people who have lived too long in survival mode. Sometimes stability feels unusual to people who have spent years expecting disappointment. But that is changing now. You are entering a season where peace will no longer feel temporary. Joy will no longer feel fragile. Hope will no longer feel dangerous. And when that season fully arrives, you will finally understand that heaven was never working against you. Heaven was always working for you. Every delay, every redirection, every closed door, every difficult lesson was leading you here. To this moment. To this transformation. To this new beginning. So lift your eyes, beloved. Raise your expectations. Open your heart once more. The story is not ending. It is expanding. The best pages have not been written yet. There are still miracles to witness, prayers to be answered, blessings to receive, and dreams to awaken. Heaven has not finished with your story. In many ways, it is only now beginning to reveal its most beautiful chapter. And remember this as well, beloved. These words were never meant to be just another passing message. They were a sacred promise, a reminder that heaven will continue reaching toward you until you finally begin to see yourself through divine eyes. Tonight, before sleep finds you, I want you to speak one final declaration. Even if uncertainty remains. Even if your voice trembles. Even if a small part of you still wonders what comes next. Say it anyway. Say, I am ready. Heaven, I open my heart to what you have prepared for me. Surprise me with the blessings that are on their way. And beloved, you will be surprised. Not through fear. Not through confusion. But through moments so gentle and perfectly timed that you will know they could not have happened by chance. A dream that stays with you after morning arrives. A conversation that brings unexpected clarity. A door opening where you expected resistance. A breakthrough appearing in a place you had already stopped expecting one. These things will come because you are loved more deeply than you realize and because your heart finally chose to receive what heaven has been offering all along. And now, as this message reaches its final moments, understand something important. This ending is not truly an ending. It is a beginning. You heard the message. You stayed. You listened. You allowed your spirit to remain open. And heaven celebrates every time a soul remembers its value. You are that soul tonight. You are the one who stayed long enough to remember. Rest now. Let peace settle over your thoughts. Let hope replace fear. Let tomorrow become something you look forward to instead of something you worry about. Because the future ahead of you carries possibilities that your present mind cannot yet fully imagine. Even after these words fade, the impact they carry will remain. That is the nature of divine truth. It does not disappear when the message ends. It takes root. It grows quietly. It awakens parts of you that have been sleeping for far too long. From this moment forward, things will begin to feel different. You will notice things you once overlooked. You will sense guidance where there was once confusion. You will recognize opportunities that previously passed unnoticed. Why? Because something inside you has awakened. Your perspective is changing. Your spirit is remembering. Your heart is becoming aligned with the purpose that has always been waiting for you. You were never ordinary, beloved. And heaven has always known that. There is something else I want you to hear before we part. For years there has been a calling within you. Sometimes it felt like a gentle whisper. Other times it felt like an ache you could never explain. It appeared in your dreams. It appeared in your desires. It appeared in moments when your soul longed for something more than ordinary existence. That feeling was never random. It was the voice of purpose calling your name. And now that voice is becoming impossible to ignore. Not because heaven wishes to pressure you, but because the time has come for you to step forward. You have hidden parts of yourself for too long. You have downplayed your gifts. You have doubted your abilities. You have questioned whether your voice mattered. But heaven never questioned it. The light within you was given for a reason. The gifts within you were placed there intentionally. The compassion you carry, the wisdom you carry, the dreams you carry, none of them were accidents. The world needs what you have been afraid to share. It needs your voice. It needs your heart. It needs the person you become when fear no longer controls your decisions. So say yes to yourself. Say yes to your purpose. Say yes to the future waiting to unfold. Not because everything is perfect, but because you finally understand that you do not walk alone. Heaven walks beside you. Divine love surrounds you. Grace moves ahead of you. And that changes everything. The fear was never the truth. The doubt was never the truth. The story that told you that you were not enough was never the truth. The truth is this. You are loved. You are valued. You are guided. You are protected. And there is purpose woven through every chapter of your life. That is why your heart has always felt different. That is why you have carried emotions so deeply. That is why you have sensed things others could not understand. You were created with intention. You were formed with purpose. And heaven has never regretted creating you. Now take one more deep breath. Let these final words settle into your spirit. Everything that was taken from you will be restored in ways you cannot yet imagine. Every tear carries meaning. Every prayer carries power. Every season of waiting carries purpose. And everything meant for you is already moving closer, even if you cannot see it yet. This is not merely a hope. It is a promise written into the story of your life. The message has completed its journey, but your journey is only beginning. Tomorrow, when the sun rises, rise with it. Rise stronger. Rise wiser. Rise more confident than before. Rise as the version of yourself that no longer settles for less than what heaven intended. Rise as the person who trusts even when the path is unclear. Rise as the person who forgives, heals, grows, and keeps moving forward. Rise as the light you were always meant to be. And as you continue forward, know that heaven remains near. Guidance will come. Peace will come. Strength will come. You are protected. You are carried. You are becoming everything you were created to be. And tonight, heaven rejoices because you remembered who you are. It is done. And the most beautiful part of your story is still waiting ahead.